From Relay FM, this is Connected, episode 318. Today's show is brought to you by Pingdom, Ahrefs, and Hawthorne. My name is Mike Hurley. I am joined by Federico Viticci. Ciao, Federico.
Ciao, Mike. How are you?
I am very well, my friend. No Stephen today.
No, Stephen.
But if you miss hearing Stephen, you can look forward to the ad breaks because Stephen pre-recorded all of the ads for me today. So if you have that need for Stephen, you can...
my God. Need for Steve.
Need for Stephen. Have you ever called Stephen Steve?
No, I don't think so. Have you?
I've probably early on in our friendship before I made that mistake and realized how much he hates it.
He hates it. Mm.
I don't know why he hates it, though.
Well, isn't Steve Hackett like a celebrity? Isn't he like the guitar player of Genesis or something?
Yeah, but I don't
think
think
so.
that's the reason, though, you know?
Maybe he really dislikes Genesis.
Maybe he hates Genesis.
What's the...
Phil Collins?
Phil Collins. And then
Yeah.
what's the song? I can feel it coming. That's
That one.
that's Phil Collins, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's Phil
yes.
Collins.
Yeah. Okay, so we don't know why. So Steven hates being called
Steve, yeah.
Also, Steve Hackett's real name is
Stephen Hackett, yeah.
Hackett.
So he can't
So
avoid he can't avoid Steve Hackett anyway. So if that's the reason, it's a bad reason. I don't know why he hates it, because it's not like it's Stephen without PHs don't get called Steve. We know that because of Steve Hackett. But Stephen doesn't like it. Like I had a friend in school called Stephen with a PH, and we called him Steve, and that was what he liked to be called, Steve.
Maybe we should get that Steve on the show instead.
And we should replace him with the real Steve.
It seems easier to get along with.
Maybe we should shorten the other half and just call him Fen.
Fen?
Yeah, so we don't shorten the first part, which is like Stephen
Fen.
becomes Steve. We just call him
Fen.
Fen instead.
Fen Hackett.
Fen. Our Fen friend. You know, because it's like he has a 2-syllable name, right? Stephen. And it's nice to shorten 2-syllable names to 1 syllable. Like you have Federico. You have like 1 million syllables. And I
Yeah,
call
you
you
wanna call him-
Teach. Well, quite
Right.
a lot, right?
You could call me Rico.
Or call you Rico. Oh, that's 2 though. So let's just call you Co. So we got Co, Mike, and Fen. There we go.
Call Mike and Fen.
Co, Mike, and Fen.
I really dislike this idea. It doesn't sound good at all.
You
Especially
recommended Rico.
Especially the Co. It sounds like a brand. I
Okay,
don't
well,
wanna be Co.
what 1 syllable of Federico do you want? Fed? Yeah, I bet you don't like that, do you?
No, I don't want to be
No.
a Fed.
Duh.
What?
Duh.
Well, no. Okay, fine. We'll go with Co.
Co. Okay, well, what about Reek? Not for
Oh, I
that.
could be Faye. I could be
Faye.
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 Fen.
Faye, Fen, and Mike.
Mike
Oh, man.
Feffen.
I wish I had.
Mike-
I wished I had a fess of some kind in my name. You know, we could go with So Michael is Michae. We could go like Che, Fen, Che, and
Che? Did you just say Che?
Yeah, Che. We could take like the CHAE from inside of Michael. So what is it? What are you again? Fen,
No, I'm Faye. Without the N.
Faye. So it's Faye, Fee, and Che. Right?
It's like, I'm pretty sure these were names of revolutionary guys from Cuba or something. Faye, Fen, and Che.
That was Che. So as long
Yes,
as
well,
we just call me,
It sounds plausible, though.
it's close enough though, huh?
It's Faye, Fen, and Che.
Fefen Che. Follow up. So it seems like the gold stainless steel smudges as much as the other phones smudge. So I'll put a link in the show notes to a tweet from Quinn Nelson. Quinn basically, he got a 12 Pro in like the regular size 12 Pro in gold, and it's covered in smudges. So basically, what Matthew Panzarino was saying about this other process must have some other properties. Maybe it's like what makes it so shiny compared to the other ones. Maybe it has some kind of durability difference. but the different process that they use for the gold stainless steel rails of the Pro models definitely does not make a difference to the amount of smudges that it picks up.
This is the magnetron stuff, right?
Yeah, whatever it was. It's like a HI something. But there we go. So.
I guess this was bound to happen, right? With a shiny, flat surface.
Because like the old phones are shiny, but they're rounded. So like if you look at your 11, like actually really look at it, mine is like covered in fingerprints, right?
Right.
But you just don't see them as much. I have decided personally that I will be able to let this go. It's not going to bother me. The smudginess.
Oh yeah, I really don't care. Like,
people really seem to care about it though at the moment. Like it's like a thing.
I don't know.
People keep talking about how smudgy they are.
I don't know. I just guess I don't have the energy to think about fingerprints. It just feels like
until the police come and get you, then you'll care. Like, oh man, those fingerprints.
Like when I've done nothing.
If we all have our fingerprints chemically removed, then the smudginess won't be a problem, I guess.
Well, that's a very good idea.
Or then is it just flat smudges?
Can it like? I don't think a smudge can be flat. Well, I guess it just be the shape of your finger.
Yeah, there just won't be any ridges.
What? How would you describe the shape of human fingers?
Sausages. So basically, if you can take a hot dog and put it inside of the phone, if that leaves a mark, then there's no point removing our fingerprints.
Do you have one handy?
Handy?
Right now?
No. I don't have a sausage handy, no. Maybe you could like just take like your palm or something. I don't know.
Please move to the next topic.
I have discovered that I have magical powers. I have a very specific magical power. And it is to summon Johnny Ive. On last week's episode of Connected, I said, "Where's Johnny? He hasn't done anything. Nothing's happened with Love From."
Wow.
Within like an hour or so, Airbnb announced that Johnny Ive is coming on board. So this is a quote from Airbnb CEO Brian Chesky. "Today I am thrilled to announce that Johnny and his partners at Love From will be engaging in a special collaboration with me and the Airbnb team. We have made the decision to work together through a multi-year relationship to design the next generation of Airbnb products and services. Johnny will also help us to continue to develop our internal design team, which he believes to be one of the world's best." This is fascinating to me, Federico.
I've got really bad news, Brian. The guy only likes white rooms.
You're gonna, everything. He's just going to create a set of experiences that are all white rooms. Look, genuinely, I was talking to Adina about this. I am really, really intrigued to see what can Johnny Ive, what are his skills for non-computer products? Like, what is his design sensibility in other things, right? And like, because Airbnb in theory...
Like in other objects and other contexts.
Yeah, because Airbnb could create physical things that they want to put in the Airbnb properties, right?
Right.
And I wonder what that might look like. Or like even things just like other types of UI design that's not focused around fun. Like I'm keen to see what are the things that his name is attached to at Airbnb other than just helping them develop their internal practices.
Can you explain something to me?
Yeah, I could try.
So I don't necessarily follow this industry. I thought that Airbnb was the thing where people rent their place to strangers.
It is. Yeah.
So how can Airbnb design someone else's place?
Well, it might not be designing of interiors, although in theory they could do that. But it could be designing of objects that go inside of interiors, right? So Airbnb have like different levels. And there is like this kind of like, I think it's called like Airbnb Select or something, where it's like a different tier, where it's still people renting out their places, but they're only for Airbnb, right? And it's like, this is all we do.
Oh, so it's like an Airbnb exclusive.
Kind of. And they actually get like products and specific things sent to them But yeah, they also have,
See,
you know,
you could explain it to me.
maybe. So yeah, they do a bunch of things, right? And obviously they have their own design around their products and their website and their advertising and all that kind of stuff. But as Airbnb continue to grow, and I'm sure are adapting, right, in the pandemic times and beyond, I'm sure that they're going to do other things, and they may want to do more experiences, and they may want to have some kind of physical products that go along with certain types of Airbnbs. I don't know what they're going to do, but I am intrigued to see what Johnny will do, because this is his first thing, right? Like, outside of the stuff that he's designed with Mark Newsom for charity, which typically tends to have some kind of technology flair, I'm just intrigued. But when I say this is my magical power, Federico, summoning Johnny, this isn't the first time this has happened. I once summoned Johnny Ive into physical space.
I don't think you summoned it.
Well, all I know is there has been, on more than one occasion, I have...
Just one other occasion.
On one of this is now two. Two is a pattern. There was once a time where I was at an Apple store and Johnny Ive appeared in the Apple store. Have you ever done that?
I don't think that's how it works. You can just run into somebody randomly and then say that you summoned the person.
Yeah, but then I mentioned him and said, like, oh, what's he doing? Having done nothing for a long period of time. And then all of a sudden, he's at Airbnb. Who could have predicted that? Not you.
No, well, I'll give you that.
All that has been proven so far is I have a skill for summoning Johnny Ive.
Okay.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if I had him on the show right now? How would you feel if, like, all of a sudden we just dialed him in?
Is there any other use to this skill besides bragging rights right here?
Do you really need... I mean, what is a skill if it's not just for bragging rights?
Well, okay.
Apple has updated Clips. Finally, it now will work in portrait mode rather than just creating square video. You can create horizontal
and landscape.
Video. And landscape.
Even landscape on the iPad. There's a brand new UI with actual popovers. Imagine that. It took him, 3 years?
I don't think... this is the third version. I don't think it's been a version a year.
Clips came out with the iPhone 10, I think.
Right.
So it's been 3 years in existence. And they now finally support other formats. There is no square video, and they do have a proper iPad UI. You can use it in landscape, and it even supports the Magic Keyboard and the pointer. So
I'm intrigued.
It seems like
I want to try it out for, like, Instagram stuff, which is what it should have been the whole time, for, like, stories, and I'm sure it'll be good for the TikToks and all that kind of stuff too. But I haven't been able to download it yet because it's not available yet. They've announced it, but it's, I don't know, rolling out.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to play with it. They do support HDR video, and you can, it's. I guess at this point it is probably the best way to do Memoji videos on your device, because the Memoji are bigger. Well, I guess they are still input. Like, you can record a Memoji video that is only the Memoji character in Messages, but it's a small head in the Messages app. Here it gets bigger, but you can still see part of your body because it's like a real-time effect. So I guess you still need to use Messages if you only want the Memoji. Still, though, like, you can do live captions, plenty of nice effects. They have true depth camera effects. This was one of the features that they launched with the iPhone 10. It doesn't have any LiDAR integration, I think, still. So that'd be fun to add in a future version of the app. But yeah, this is pretty cool. I want to play with it. I think it could be fun for Instagram stories, for sure.
So there's been a problem with the tvOS review.
I don't believe you. Like,
there has been a problem. I'm having a problem. My Apple TV will not update to tvOS 14.
No, I don't believe. Have you Googled a solution? Even
it just
have you
keeps
bothered?
Saying it failed. I've been trying.
Have you bothered Googling the solution besides texting us that you have this problem?
No.
Don't you think you should have at least tried that?
All right. Apple TV won't update. How to update your Apple TV. I did all these things.
You should have at least
the K-Base
Googled
isn't helping me.
Look,
So
I'm sure this happened to me before.
there has been a
And
delay. Maybe, like, look, all I'm going to say is when you accidentally updated your iPhone, no one was mean to you about it. We all tried to offer solutions. You're just saying, what's wrong with you? You haven't even Googled.
See, the thing is, you promised this review like almost 2 months ago.
Yeah, but like, look, sometimes things get late.
Yeah, but you're later than I was for my
I mean,
iOS review, which
yeah,
was a
but-
real review, not this charade
Wow.
that we're playing
Wow.
with this tvOS review.
Wow.
Mine was an actual thing, and
Wow.
you're later with your fake thing than I was with my real one.
Wow.
I mean, it's harsh, but everybody's thinking it. We're all
It's
thinking
super
it. The
harsh.
people in the chat room are just too kind
That's super
to
harsh.
say this.
I
Where
try
is this
my
review,
best.
Michael?
It's
Have you
in the
have you
works.
started taking notes?
Of course, I have research. I've been doing research.
What is this? What does it look like?
It's a mind map.
And by that you mean that it's only in your mind.
Yes,
right?
I have
It's-
mapped it all out in my mind.
How convenient of you.
It's not that convenient because I have to remember it all constantly. It's actually quite a big mental load.
But you have a really good memory. I mean, to share all these lies with us, you must have a really good memory.
Whoa, hang on a minute.
So I'm pretty sure you can keep a tvOS review in your mind.
Wow.
I guess we'll keep waiting for the next excuse at this point.
Jacques.
Do your thing, man. We'll keep waiting, and when and if it eventually comes out, we will be ready to enjoy the review. It's just you're not making it easy for yourself to have us
Oh.
believe you.
No, Apple's not making it easy for me
Sure.
because, they kept delaying features and then
Also, Kate makes a really good point. How can you have done any research if the OS is not on your television?
documentation.
Yes, because there's so much tvOS documentation around.
I never said there was a lot. This is part of the problem is trying to find some.
Right.
That's the real
right.
issue. It's the research is difficult because there's not a lot of sources out there.
Okay, so I see. You should have been at this stage in June, not in late October.
I would have been if there was more resources.
Right.
It's taken a long
right,
time to pull all this together because there isn't really a lot happening
Right.
in the
Right.
tvOS world. I just want to state for the record, I never wanted to do this year. Then it got thrust upon me by
Never?
you two.
Never trusted. Like, what are you saying?
I
You
did
have
it
been
one
saying
time.
for you've been saying for the past year that you want to be the tvOS guy,
Just consuming it,
and we played along
Right.
with your newfound interest,
Mm.
and we encouraged you.
I do use it a lot. I probably use the Apple TV more than you or Steven do. But maybe that's just where it should have ended. Well,
Okay.
we'll get there. We'll get there.
We will. I'm sure we will.
Also, we don't have the time for it today anyway.
Whatever. But you also said
Mhm.
that Jason convinced you to wait for
Yeah, that's also
tvOS for. Okay, so did the error occur when trying to install the beta, or
No,
just the regular?
just the
software
regular software update is not working
Okay.
for me at the moment.
Okay.
So we've got a lot of steps.
Not really. You just need to Google the error, and
I don't want to talk about this anymore. So let's go to our first Steven provided advertisement break.
This episode of Connected is brought to you by Pingdom from SolarWinds. Do you have a website, and does that website have things like a shopping cart, registration form, contact us pages? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you need Pingdom. Nobody wants their critical website transactions to fail. That means a bad experience for your users and could mean lost business for you. But the good news is you can set up transaction monitoring with Pingdom. Transaction monitoring will alert you when cart checkout forms and login pages fail before they affect your customers and your business. Pingdom will let you know the moment any of these fail in whatever way is best for you. You can customize how you're alerted and who is alerted depending on the outage severity. Pingdom cares about your users having the smoothest site experience possible, and if disaster strikes, you'll be the first to know. It's super easy to get started. Just go to pingdom.com/relayfm right now for a 14-day free trial with no credit card required. And when you sign up, use the code CONNECTED at checkout to get a huge 30% off your first invoice. Our thanks to Pingdom from Solar Winds for their support of the show and Relay FM.
There's been some new app updates that I wanted to talk to you about, Federico.
Okay, talk to me about apps. I mean,
So, Halide. Is that how you say it?
that's how I say it. I
Right.
don't think it's the correct way to say it.
I think
but
this
that's
is one
also
of
how
those things where I've only can remember how you say it, so now I say it that way.
Halide.
I
Yeah.
bet John Voorhees says Halide.
I think John Voorhees knows how to say a lot of words that we don't know because he used to be a lawyer, and so he knows a lot of fancy words.
Yeah, I wonder if Halide as a phrase comes up a lot in legal documentation. Maybe. I don't know what it means. Anyway, so Halide is a camera application. It's been around for a while now. And one of the things that it does, and one of its reasons for existence, is allowing for people to take raw photography, right?
How did you say that?
Raw?
Oh, that's really nice.
It's like a
really-
lion. I mean, purely lion.
Yeah, it's a very nice
photography.
sound.
Like it's just raw photography.
So
So
deep.
I know that I have tried to use Halide a bunch and like get daunted by it because it's like I don't know what any of this does. And like even when I was trying to use it after the update, I like swiped on the screen and changed the ISO, and then everything was horrific, and I didn't really know what to do with it. So I'm not using the manual controls. It's one of the other things that it does. I'm trying to use the auto controls. And I'm not really sure what I'm doing yet, but I want to get to grips with it. And this reminds me of when I first started to use like VSCO, where like I didn't really know what I was doing there either. But then once I kind of understood what the controls did, I was happy with the results, and I use it now and I feel very confident in it. But it seems like Halide 2 has got a bunch of, or Halide Mark 2 because it's a camera, has got a bunch of interesting things going on. And I wanted to try and get to grips with some of the basics of this application before it integrates with Apple Pro RAW. Because Apple Pro RAW sounds more intriguing to me, of like, apply all of the stuff that the phone does and then let me add stuff in from there. Because when I think about like, one of the things that I like to do in VSCO is like control the colors and the contrast and the exposure and stuff. And my understanding is you get way more control over that when you're coming from a RAW photography. But what I don't want to lose is a lot of the computational stuff. And I feel like this is probably somewhat frustrating for the Halide developers, that they had created something called Instant RAW, which seemed to be doing some of this stuff, and then Pro RAW can obviously do more of it. But I'm sure they will benefit from the work that they've done, and they'll be able to integrate Pro RAW. And so I wanted to get to grips with some of this stuff before then. It brings with it lots of updates for things that I don't really understand, like histograms and waveform data, but it looks really nice. And there are tutorials in the applications now, in this application now, that I want to try out, which is something that they've added in version 2, which hopefully will be able to teach me a little bit more about how to use the app itself. But I have taken some pictures with it, and I do like some of the features it has, Federico, where like it uses haptics to indicate to you if you're holding the phone steady, or like that you've actually, that you're, say you wanted to take something top down, it lines up and gives you a little haptic when you're actually level
nice.
over the like the horizon plane, so like the horizontal plane. So yeah, I like it. I don't really understand it yet, but I'm making it a point to try and get my head around it a little bit more. It is very beautiful. It is very well made. But I'm kind of like approaching it with this kind of thought in mind. So similarly, if anybody has any particular resources that they think could be useful for me for using Halide Mark II, please send them my way. But I'm going to try out the tutorials as well that are in the application.
Yeah, that sounds really nice. Personally, I've kind of learned to accept the fact that I will never truly understand these apps, like for pro and manual photography, and I think I'm fine with it now. Like
I
there
have
was a
definitely
time,
felt this way in the past, and
Yeah.
I'm also fine with it that if I go through this process a little bit and feel like this doesn't work for me, like I'll be fine Like I've long accepted before now that like I'm okay if general like good photography stuff passes me by. The only reason it made me come back to it is the fact that I feel like from an editing perspective, like not only do I feel like I know how to use the tools now, I feel like I know what I want and I know how to get it out of an image. So the fact that I've been able to get to that point has made me want to reassess looking at the capture applications again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get it. And I tried, but I really struggled with it. And I think
Yep.
at this point I'm fine with just using the camera app and
Yes.
trusting the system. But I'm also intrigued by ProRAW, which is coming to the camera app at some point later this year, I guess, maybe 14.3 or something. Because that will be available in the camera app and you will be able to edit in the Photos app. And you, in theory, ProRAW will combine the benefits of RAW, but with the computational processing that Apple does. So it's kind of similar to what Halide is doing in the latest version, but made by Apple. And so that intrigues me. But even if it doesn't work out, and even if the whole process is daunting and I don't understand like sharpness and ISO and all these things, like I'm fine with whatever comes out of the iPhone's camera. I think I've learned to accept that it's one of the things I don't want to stress about anymore. And I'm cool with it.
Now we go from an application that is not in your wheelhouse to an application that could be more in your wheelhouse, which is Reader 5. Now,
Why do you want to talk about Reader 5? Are you using Reader 5
I've been using
yourself?
RSS for like a year.
Oh yes, with only a handful of feeds.
Yeah,
right?
small amount of feeds but it's really good for show prep. And I like I'm like 100% back in the RSS land. And I saw that Reader 5 came out, and it was surprising and interesting to me for a couple of reasons. One, it was like, I don't understand why this application is a new application. Like, surely a really nicely made RSS app is like prime for a subscription model. Right?
Yeah.
It
Right.
really feels like is it Silvio, the Reader developer?
Yes.
So his name? That he should be charging an annual fee for the app. Like, I don't understand, because I just feel like today, even though the process of moving from 4 to 5 was good, like there was a flow where like you open the old app and it moves your things, I had to reset some settings again, you know? And I just feel like this is the type of application that has a market that loves this type of application. Like, a subscription model for apps like this, it just seems like the logical thing to me. And I know that people get upset, but people get upset when you do what he did as well, which is have a new app and charge for it, right? Yeah. Like, so there is no path to paid upgrades that people are going to be happy about. But this just feels like the type of application that I would very happily pay a subscription for. Because, I mean, I also pay a subscription for... See, this would have been the perfect time for him to bring it into existence as well, to be honest, because now you can also use Reader as your RSS service.
Yes.
Because it syncs via iCloud. So
yeah.
The business proposition could have been, cancel your subscription service and give me the money instead. But nevertheless, I can't tell people how to run their businesses. I'm sure that this works for them, otherwise they wouldn't do it. But so I saw it and I was like, why would I want, I don't know why I want this. Like, looking at the images, it was like, this looks very much like the app I'm currently using.
Yeah.
Then I heard you on one of the many Mac Stories related properties. So the problem I have with App Stories Unwind and Unplugged is I tend to listen to them one after another.
So it kind of blends.
So I have no idea which show I hear you and John say things about.
Well, I mean, as long as you're listening, that's fine.
But I listen to all of them. I'm a big fan of the Mac Stories Extended Universe. So I think it was Unwind.
That sounds possible.
You described Reader 5 as like an extension of your own hands.
That was Unwind, yes.
And I was like, I need to try it out. And I don't think I can explain it any better than you, but it feels so much more modern and fluid in a way that I wouldn't have expected based on how well Reader 4 worked. And the native column layout on iPadOS I really like as well. It has widgets if you want that, but I don't want widgets for RSS. You could, as I said before, you can use Reader as an RSS client itself, and it syncs the subscriptions via iCloud. And then there are also lots of improvements to the read later features. Can you do a better job than me of selling the features of the app? Like, because it is a weird one where it's like, this app just feels a lot nicer, which is a peculiar thing to upgrade for. But if you use it every day, you feel the benefit.
Yeah, it's full of those details that Silvio really knows how to deliver. He's been doing this for over a decade at this point, and Reader was one of the first apps that I ever reviewed on Mac Stories. And the way that Silvio delivers these details is very clever, because they're there and they're not in your face. Like sometimes you install an app from the App Store and they try to be too fancy with, for example, things like the animations or the graphics.
Yep.
And they're kind of garish, and you notice them, and you're like, yeah, I get it. You wanted to do this fancy, like, elastic effect, and it's cute the first time I see it, but then it's kind of, get out of my way. You're just slowing me down. I get it. It's like too saccharine, it's just too much. But with Reader, those details are there, but somehow you only notice them at the appropriate time. Like a few days ago, I noticed the transition for when you're scrolling feeds inside of a folder, and the title of the folder bounces when the heading of the section reaches the title bar. And it's a very small detail, and it's kind of inconsequential, but I noticed it and I was like, wow, that's like, it's been here the whole time and I never saw it. And now I did, and it's a really beautiful effect. And imagine this applied to the whole experience, right? This almost like it's an attention to detail that I've rarely seen in any developer. I think Editorial maybe comes to mind years ago. Lauren Brichter with Tweety had the same attention to detail. Very few developers can nail this implementation of beautiful details that are pretty to look at, but they're not in your face at the same time. And Reader is one of those apps, and especially Reader 5. But it's not just as you mentioned, the fluidity of the interface and this attention to small design touches and details. It's also the functionality itself. So I really like the fact that Reader can be both an RSS client and a read later app at the same time.
And the read later thing came with version 4, didn't it?
It came with version 4.
Yeah.
And in version 5, you can also now tag your saved articles. And the tagging works in a bunch of different ways. You can manually tag inside of the app, but you can also enable a setting that modifies the extension. So Reader has an extension called Save to Read Later. And if you enable this option, anytime you save something, you also get the option of tagging it up front. So you don't need to open Reader and do the tagging later. You can tag upon saving an article. And Reader also has really excellent shortcuts integration, which means that you can build shortcuts to retrieve articles from Reader and do things like searching by title and searching by tag. In fact, I'm going to share one of these shortcuts this Friday in Club Mac Stories Weekly for club members. But the combination of all these features, it means that Reader at the same time can be both super intuitive, the kind of app that you open, you scroll through for like 2 minutes, and it does its thing, it's polished, it's elegant, and then you're done with it and you close it. Or it can be a power user app with things like shortcuts and tagging and adding multiple accounts and having multiple columns. And the way that these two natures coexist in a single product, I think that's where the talent of a developer comes in. Balancing these two aspects. Some apps, they are skewed toward one direction sometimes. And so you get the power user application that is kind of ugly and it doesn't really care about the details, like Neutron Player, for example. It's one of those. And sometimes you get the thing that is too fancy for its own good. Lots of animations, lots of transitions.
Well, it's form of a function, function of a form.
Exactly.
But Reader is an example of an application that actually somehow balances those things.
Balancing both. It takes a lot of work, which explains why Reader has few updates, right? It's not the kind of app that has an update every few days. Very few updates, but especially over the past 2 to 3 years when Silvio sort of came back to development. I don't know what happened in their lives, but he came back and, Reader gets regular updates. Not too many, but he gets them. And when you get a Reader update, you know that it's, there's something really special in it. I don't know. Did I sell this enough?
Yeah, I think you've at least helped explain a little bit more. I mean, I have one thing that I would love the app to do. Is like it has a read later built in, right? And what's cool is that you can add read later from inside of your RSS, but you can also add random articles from the web, either via shortcuts or via, I don't know if there's an action extension, but there's a Safari extension on the Mac where you can add things in. So basically using Reader as like an Instapaper.
Yeah.
But I want to see all of my stuff in one view. Like at the moment, if you're in your RSS and you want to see your read later, you have to back out to accounts and then switch into read later.
Oh, you want to have everything together?
Like a unified inbox.
Oh, no.
That's what I would like.
Mm.
Right? Because for me, it's like if I'm saving things from around the web, it's for when I'm ready to sit down and go read them. And when I'm in RSS is when I'm ready to sit down and read things. Right? It's just like that's kind of like the mode shift for me. I only open my RSS app when I'm ready to read stuff. I don't do what I think sometimes someone like you might do, which is like that's where I go to check the news. Like I'm not doing that.
Right. Yeah.
Right? It's like I'm ready to consume for either preparation or for pleasure, and now I want it all there. Because I've used the read later feature a few times to save things and I forget about them because I never think to go and look for it. Like I would like to see them all in one view, but who knows? Maybe that's something for the future. I have some wireless charging related stuff for you, Federico.
Okay, not for me, not for you.
I think it's more for you. So Mophie is making a battery pack that clips onto iPhones and charges with Qi charging. It uses this like stick-on attachment that has a clip on it that you can then attach other accessories to. So they also give you like a standy type thing or like a little thing you can hold on to. I don't want to say pop socket because it's quite simple. But then you can pop that off and you can put a battery on it. Now the benefit of this is you could have multiple batteries. So you could have 2 batteries, and then once you've run through another one, just clip another one on. So it's actually quite a clever way of doing this type of charging. It doesn't seem to have anything MagSafe about it, of course, because this has been in development for a while, I'm sure. But it is quite a clever system of charging to have like these multiple battery packs. It's called Juice Pack Connect, and then you just clip new ones on.
Okay. I mean, it sounds pretty cool. It looks pretty cool. Now for me, it kind of feels very plasticky. Like there's a lot of plastic going on here. And I'm not necessarily a fan of the bulk of the whole thing. I do prefer like a much simpler affair. I have an external USB-C battery, and when I need it, I use it for like 30, 40 minutes, and I top up my iPhone, and like I did today, for example, I brought it back to 80% battery because I've been using it this morning a lot, and then I stopped using the battery. Unless I'm going out and I need to use the wallet case, I'm not a fan of real chunky, plasticky things. For example, I know a lot of people who use the OtterBox cases, that looks like, it makes your iPhone look like a tank that needs to go to war.
Yep.
And they're like,
what they're for.
It's like, yeah, with this phone, with this case, even if I drop my phone, it won't hurt itself. And I'm like, yeah, but you're using something that looks like a brick. You can hurt yourself maybe with it. Like,
I think OtterBox's original thing was making phones waterproof, right? Like I think that's where OtterBox, like you basically had this like big plastic box that you put the phone in.
box.
right?
Oh
I
my
think that
God.
was their thing. Like when they first came around,
I
was
just
like,
thought they like others.
maybe they do, but it's like you can take your phone into the water. Like I think that was like kind of the thing about it when it
I
first
see.
came around.
I see.
And now they've slimmed down. This was the company that just invested in
Oh, they did
Bridge.
put. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes.
I'm intrigued to see what that will do.
So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this design myself. I think it's a pretty cool idea. Sort of this. I do like the modularity involved in
Yep.
this. Like you can clip multiple things. That's pretty cool.
I mean, I like that to get into this system, it's pretty small. It's low, right? Like I don't like these systems where you also have to use the phone case that company makes.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that frustrates me. Like this system is just like you just got to stick this thing either onto a phone or onto any case that you want, and it will work. I like that. And
Yeah.
the thing that you actually stick onto the phone is quite slim. So, but yeah, I wouldn't want to charge my phone with these, but also I don't use battery packs. So, I mean, if I was the type of person that got through a battery pack a day because of whatever it is I'm doing, I could see value in this because then I could have a couple of them and I would always have one ready to go, right? Always one charge. So clever. It is very clever. It is very clever.
Also, I don't feel like I need external batteries much these days because I'm
No.
not going outside much.
No.
So all these products, they will be, I guess, useful for a lot more people once again, ideally, hopefully, at some point
In the future.
late next year,
Yep.
maybe. Yeah.
According to an FCC filing, it seems that reverse wireless charging may be possible on future Apple products with the use of MagSafe.
Huh.
So this is from the FCC filing from Apple. In addition to being able to be charged by a desktop WPT charger puck, I don't know what that means. 2020 iPhones also support WPT charging function at 360 kilohertz to charge accessories. Currently, the only accessory that can be charged by iPhones is an external potential Apple accessory in future, which is so weird. Like this is like another one of those things where like clearly COVID messed it all up, right? And that Apple would never submit something like this where it very clearly says this phone has a feature you don't know about and we're working on a product that's going to support it, right? But timelines are all messed up. We're going to talk about AirPods later on in the show. I think it sounds like an AirPods case, like a new AirPods case for new AirPods and maybe for old ones that can draw a small amount of power from the MagSafe connector to charge, right? Like that seems like the logical product to me.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
How great
actually.
would that be?
That would be
too?
really nice.
I would be so into it.
That would be really nice. And speaking of MagSafe and AirPods, I texted you, both you and Fen
Fan.
a few days ago. I texted Che and Fen a few days ago. And I was like, hey, homies, I discovered, because I totally was not paying attention during the keynote, or maybe it just passed me by, I don't know. I had no idea that you could charge your AirPods with the MagSafe charger. And then you told me, well, Faye.
It's a cheat. Come on, Faye. It's a cheat.
Come on, Faye. It can be a Qi charger for any device. I see. I just didn't know that.
You know what I would have loved so much if you would have like thought you'd stumbled upon something and like quickly
And tweeted
it.
about it.
Like, whoa! Did anybody? Why is nobody talking about this?
You know, you have made me so self-conscious about this. I can't believe no one is talking about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That every time I think nobody is talking about anything, I check with you guys first.
Because it's one of the most annoying like things. One of my favorite tweets of all time is I don't remember exactly off my head, but it's like, in quotes, why is nobody talking about this? Said everybody who is talking about this. Right? Like someone is always talking about it. Whatever it is, I can assure you someone's talking about it. But yes, why is nobody talking about this? Well, they are, Federico. You just weren't reading them.
I just wasn't paying attention, I guess.
That would be super cool. It would be kind of interesting and weird too, right? If Apple were like, LOL, there's a feature inside your phone that you don't know about. It does reverse wireless charging.
Have they ever done that? Is there a precedent for this is why we need fan. Is there a precedent for a feature that was later enabled and it was there, we just didn't know about it?
Not that
Why
I can
am I-
recall.
I'm thinking of something. Why am I thinking of something right now?
Well, maybe because there is something. There is like, there have been software features that have come, but like hardware to software, I don't know. I don't know about that. Like people were telling us about other software features. No, not software, like not an app, not like a software upgrade. Like this is like a piece of hardware that's inside the phone that does nothing. We don't even know it even has the capability to do anything, right? So not U1 because they told us about the U1 chip. We knew that. And I mean, it's done nothing so far. But like,
Steven mentioned something about these kinds of things at some point before.
I mean,
I'm sure.
Let's restrict it to iOS devices. I don't want to talk about Macs in this because it's like,
Okay.
oh well, like it started to support this gigahertz rating, and no, bunch of nerds. No, I won't accept that. I think this stuff is more interesting with like closed console devices. I think they're called these days.
Oh, come on. Please don't. Expression. Please never use it again in front of me.
No, okay. So there you go. I can't think of anything, but it would be super cool. And I guess really there would be nothing to say about it right now if it is a feature that has to be enabled by there being an accessory that can use it. Because, I mean, clearly if I put my current AirPods on the back of a new phone, it doesn't charge, right? Like there's something about that is inside of that coil or inside of the whole MagSafe setup that they've got that will somehow enable it. So I think the possibility of that is interesting, and I would like to know. Last thing is, if you want to get the 15-watt MagSafe charging, you have to use a 20-watt Apple adapter to do it.
There seems to be some confusion around this.
All right, if you will allow me, let me read to you the research that I've done, and if you have a secondary point, I would love to hear it. So
yes,
it's from what I have seen and from the research that I have pulled from, is that basically you get slower speeds if you use any adapter that isn't the 20 watt, whether it's high or low. So you can get, if you use the 18 watt adapter that came with phones last year, you get 13 watts of charging. If you use higher adapters, like higher wattage adapters, you get even like wilder charging. So like if you use the 96 watt MacBook Pro adapter, you get 10 watts of MagSafe charging. So this is what I have seen. Potentially some third-party chargers might work, right? But it seems like that there is a weirdness even amongst Apple's thing, which is just, it's frustrating, I think, that this is a $39 adapter thing that tells you you're going to get one speed, but you've also got to have the right type of charger to get it. So
I think what some people are saying on Twitter is that the charger, the USB adapter, the brick that you use, in order to charge the iPhone at full speed via MagSafe, it needs to support the 20 watt power delivery 3.0 spec,
right,
which means 9 volts, 2.22 ampere.
Right.
And there's a few third party. It's my understanding is that this is a relatively new spec,
right.
but there's already a couple chargers from folks like Anker and Oki
Right.
that are compatible with this. And I think the problem is, even if you get a higher, because some people, a lot of people would think, well, okay, 20 watts. What if I give you 60 watts? I bet that's going to be better, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't work like that because of these, like, oh God.
It's the specs. It's the power delivery specs, potentially.
All these power delivery specs are different. And the fact that it's a higher number, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's optimized for something that requires fewer watts, but with a different spec.
Because like for me personally, I don't care that you can buy an Anker charger that will do this. I honestly think that it's ridiculous that the MagSafe doesn't come with a brick. It should. I think that is like, I
Okay,
believe the
so-
MagSafe should come with an adapter. The phone I can let go, right? Like, and I have, like, for me personally, it's like, okay, like whatever, like I can charge it.
No,
I
no,
can-
okay. Unpopular opinion time.
Whee!
I have yet to hear from any of my friends that I've showed the iPhone 12 Pro to, from anyone who believes that Apple is doing this for the environment. People are just not buying it.
Of course they're not buying it.
And
There's
honestly,
no reason to buy it because they're not just doing it for the environment. It also saves them money, right? Like,
well, you read some Apple websites, you would think that some folks actually believe it.
look, I believe that they are doing it part A for the environment, part B for money saving. Like, you can hold two opinions,
Okay,
right? Like,
so
and I believe
I-
that there's both of these things.
I still feel like I think it's a laudable initiative. And maybe I'm a bad person and I take full responsibility for what I'm about to say. I just feel like it's kind of cheap not to include a charger in the box when you're buying a $1,000 phone.
Mm.
I just think it's cheap. And especially because, you know, a lot of people resell their phones. And when you resell the phone,
They want
you
the
get a
charger.
higher you want, you know, the other person wants the charger and the cable.
Also, a
And so
lot
you-
of the reselling companies require one.
Right.
Maybe that will
And-
change, right? But at the moment, that's kind of the case.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels kind of cheap not to include one. I mean, you know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't understand the environment enough. But you know, once again, we have talked about this before. Because I'm a man of the people, unlike Steven and you, I like to talk to the common folk and understand their thoughts and opinions. And honestly, like every time one of my friends asks me, so is there really no charger in the box? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, why? And I say, well, in theory, they're saying that it's for the environment. And they always start laughing at me. So
Of course,
I don't
mean,
think-
because people. This isn't. I mean this to be mean. People tend to be cynical, right? So like, they're not going to believe that. Even if Apple reduced the cost and said it was for the environment, people still wouldn't believe them, right? But in this instance, I think that there is a bit of column A and a bit of column B, and it is helping them at a time when the iPhones got more expensive to reduce some cost. Because like, people think like, oh, how much does a charger cost? It's not just the cost of the charger, right? When they talk about the fact that they can put more phones on a boat or on a plane and move them, that shipping that they are making better for the environment means the shipping of the phones is cheaper, right? Like, the whole process is cheaper. They spend less on cardboard. They spend, like, everything's cheaper. Like, the marginal gains make up to money, right? So, like, not including the power adapter in the box saves them money across the entire stack, right? Which is at a year when they wanted it, because the phones are more expensive to make now because they're all OLED. But as has been pointed out many times, we can keep rehashing it here. If you want to see the fact that this is not just for the environment, look at the fact that they removed it from the older phones and didn't change the cost of them. Right?
Yeah.
So, like, if you buy an SE or a 10R, you don't get the power adapter in the box anymore, but the phone costs the same amount of money. But nevertheless, we took this tangent, which is, I'm sure everybody listening to the show is sick of hearing people talk about this now, and I apologize. I think that it is actually worse, in my opinion, to sell the MagSafe adapter without a charger, when it benefits from a specific charger that nobody owns because Apple didn't make one. There was no Apple 20-watt charger before now, right? That, like, I believe the MagSafe adapter should have come with the 20-watt charger in the box so everyone could benefit from the extra speeds that they're supposed to get from the thing. And plus, it costs $39. And I hate that the cable's 1 meter.
yeah.
Let's have Steven once again save us from this trail of conversation.
This episode of Connected is brought to you by Ahrefs. SEO has been a mystery to me forever, but spending a few minutes with Ahrefs really helped me understand how I could better implement improvements for the Relay FM website. So do you work for a big brand, or maybe you're like me with a small business? Well, getting traffic to your website either way can be a real challenge. There's a lot of competition out there. Ahrefs is the all-in-one SEO tool set that solves that problem. It gives the tools you need to rank your websites in Google and get you tons of search traffic. The best part is it's all really easy to use and understand. They do a really good job at explaining these terms and these mysteries of SEO, really making it simple. Ahrefs uncovers how your competitors are getting traffic and why. You can see the pages and content that send them the most traffic, and you can get estimated search volumes with their Keyword Explorer tool. So you can see how well a piece of content is likely to perform before you write it. Ahrefs has a bunch of useful stuff. Content Explorer can help you find guest blogging opportunities, and Rank Tracker, which lets you track the progress on your keywords. It even picks up broken backlinks and help you fix them. So take the mystery out of SEO. Go to ahrefs.com right now. That's ahrefs.com. Sign up for their 7-day trial for just $7. Get reports on your website, see what's performing well, and figure out your next move. So whether you have a personal website that you want to gain a following on, or your company needs more traffic to convert into sales, go there now. Ahrefs.com. Get that $7 trial. Our thanks to Ahrefs for their support of the show and Relay FM.
Let's talk about headphones. So Mark
I
Gurman
saved, Michael, I saved a bombshell reveal
Whoa.
for this segment.
Wow.
Bombshell reveal time.
Okay, is
But
it
not
is
yet-
it
not yet.
now, or are we going to
Not
be doing
yet.
it in a minute?
Not
okay.
yet. Just in general, this
World
is bombshell
exclusive?
reveal time,
Okay.
but not yet.
Okay. Bombshell, but not yet. Mark Gurman and Debbie Wu reporting for Bloomberg. There are 2 new AirPod models in the works at Apple. There is a 3rd-gen regular AirPods with a shorter stem and replaceable ear tips. I am concerned that they
Me
will be
too.
changing the original AirPods to be in-ear. I do not think this is a good idea.
Please do not do this. Again,
For
all those
multiple reasons.
all those friends that I talk to, like all of them, they stuck with the regular AirPods.
Look
they
how
didn't
upset
get the
Faye
AirPods
will
Pro
be. Fen.
because
Fen? What's his name again? Is it Fen?
Fen.
Fen
The-
stuck with the original AirPods for this
a
reason.
lot of people, many people are saying that they don't like the rubber tips and the in-ear tips because they make them feel sick. and
I
they
don't
give them a
like the
headache.
in-ear tips. They're not good for me, but I love the noise cancellation, so I accept it. You know, like
Right.
my left, doesn't matter what I use, the left ear always falls out for me. Like I've developed another magical sense I have of knowing exactly when I need to catch the falling AirPod. Like I know the moment it's going to fall out of my ear and my left hand just comes up and I grab it. They fall out for me all the time, but the noise cancellation in the AirPods Pro is so good that I will take anything for it because I love it. But they shouldn't, and also I just don't think that like Apple should make an isolation without transparency mode. You shouldn't have like they should continue to have a if they want to make replaceable tips, they can do that, but the base of it should be just as they are now. So
I think the regular AirPods should stay simple.
yes,
I think one of the things that people really like about them is that they're simple. Why does everything need to get more complex over
You don't
time?
need to
I
do
don't
that.
get it.
no, they
Don't
need to
do that. People love them because they're simple. You just put them on and you're done.
And also,
but
don't
maybe-
make AirPods more like AirPods Pro. Make
Exactly.
people want to buy AirPods Pro. Like,
but
don't
maybe, what if we're not thinking about this right?
Mm.
What if we're all thinking of rubber tips, but maybe Apple is making like an interchangeable plastic part of the, like the actual
Why?
shape of the AirPod.
Oh, okay. Maybe you get different sizing, but it doesn't go in the ear.
Right, you just replace the actual shell of the, like you unscrew it or something, like you just replace the actual shell.
And then
it's
they
a
could
different
have
shape.
like those wings, you know, like the sport ones do or something. You know what I'm
Right.
talking about? Where it goes in the
Right.
ear. Like they could have those too. We'll hope that it's that, right? That's what we can hope for. Apple also working on a second generation of AirPods Pro, which until I read this report was not something that I had thought about, but now I'm like, yeah, make them better, right? Like I hadn't considered a second generation of AirPods Pro coming anytime soon. The rumors say that they're going to be more compact with a shorter stem, potentially a more rounder shape that fills more of the ear. This is what a lot of Apple's competitors are doing. So like the, Galaxy Buds, Surface Buds, Amazon Buds, I think they're all called that. They kind of they fill more of the ear itself rather than just relying on being in the ear, which I wonder for me might actually help keep mine in. I don't know, because it like maybe balances where the pressure point is, like where the lever is. I don't know. Apparently, though, this new shape design has been difficult during development. So in generation 2, we might not see that much of a design change except for a shorter stem. I don't know how much shorter the stem could be and continue to be useful, but I also thought that about AirPods Pro, though. When I saw them, I was like, oh, that's too small. And I find it to be wonderfully comfortable and great.
I don't know. I feel like I can barely grab it right now. I think if you make the stem shorter, like
it would be too short.
At that point, you will just have to change the gesture to control. I guess if you're making them round, then it'll become like a touch gesture again, like tapping or touching or swiping, whatever. I guess that's what the other buds are doing. You tap them or you touch them, and because they don't have a stem.
Yeah, so and I would be fine with that, really, because I do so little now. It's just one click to pause or hold for... I would be happy with a very simple tap rather than the thunk that you used to do on the old AirPods.
You are exaggerating.
I hate it. I hated that.
I still, I'm used to it, so now it's fine. But the precisely grabbing the little stem and pressing it, I still don't like it.
But it's more comfortable than thunking the side of my ear.
What's not to like? Every time I did that, it was like I was, refreshing my brain.
Well, then you know what? Every time you squeeze the stem on your AirPods now, also give yourself a little thunk for fun.
Like this?
Yeah, one of those. It's a little fun thunk. A thunk.
It's like I'm shaking my thoughts. That's why I like it
yeah,
so
you
much.
go. You're like a snow globe up in there. Over-the-ear AirPods are still coming, but have seen delays due to manufacturing complexities. I'm still waiting for this bombshell, by the way. I'm like every time I'm talking, I'm like waiting for you to drop it, and it's just not happening. Currently, there are issues with the headband that have delayed production, which was supposed to begin weeks ago. This is a direct quote from the article. The company initially wanted to include large touchpads on the side of the headphones, but reduced the size of those panels. Apple has also scaled back some of the interchangeable functionality of the headphones that were a hallmark of the initial concept. I think I know where your bombshell is now. I think I've worked it out. The latest, that's not from the article, that was me. The article says again, the latest version of the product is likely to lack a replaceable headband, but could still include interchangeable ear pads. Just before we talk about this, before you are about to give your bombshell, can you give me a warning so I can tell you what I think it is?
Okay.
I have a guess.
You want to guess privately on iMessage?
You don't want me to spoil it?
Well, I think the bombshell reveal will not be a bombshell if you spoil it.
All right, I will keep it to myself, and I will tell you honestly if I thought that was the thing. How about that?
Okay.
So anyway, the AirPods Studio, if we're calling them that, with hearing this about the replaceable headbands might not happening, the interchangeable ear pads maybe not being as good as we had thought, but still available, it's seeming less and less of a desirable product. Like, I still am interested. I still want over-ear AirPods Pro, right? Like, I still like the thought of all of that. But a lot of what made us so excited about these rumors was the really premium sounding design and it all being customizable. It seems like a bit of a downer.
Yeah, it's too bad now because all the thoughts that we had about modularity and swapping the pieces and the large touch controls, Yeah, this is too bad if it's
Mhm.
true. And I mean, I have to believe it is true because Mark doesn't get these things wrong.
No.
Unlike others. So
But it does
Yeah.
corroborate like what a lot of leaks have been saying, and then when Mark Gurman will report on it in Bloomberg, you can feel pretty confident in like they're struggling. And it also feels like there have been many times when this product would have been introduced and it hasn't been, which would suggest that it is maybe potentially delayed. And it did seem like an ambitious product, which I think is why we were so excited about it. And it just seems like a shame that they might be scaling it back. But I still hold out hopes for whatever it is they introduce being what I mainly want, which is over-ear headphones from Apple that operate like AirPods and build on the already great noise cancellation. Like, I would be really happy with that product. But we're going to have to wait and see. There is also the report of possibly another HomePod coming that would, for some reason, sit between the Mini and the original on size, pricing, and quality. I don't understand this. Like,
is that necessary?
I don't think this is necessary. There isn't really that much of a
Well,
price difference between the two.
I don't know. I guess an updated version that has the U1 chip and the Thread.
If that's
radio
what they
support.
do, like I've heard people say that maybe this is like a mixed messages thing, that like there is a new HomePod coming that is different in size and pricing, but really it's a replacement for the original. If that's the case, fine. But if it is intended to also live with the old HomePod, I don't know. Maybe this one would be like the expensive one, and then the old HomePod goes down a bit in price, and then they keep it around in the lineup. But I don't know. I don't know yet. I'm not sure.
Okay, bombshell reveal
Oh,
time.
wow, it's happening. Okay.
Bombshell reveal
Bombshell
time.
reveal time.
Also, do you know what a bombshell is? Is it like the shell of a bomb?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what
It's like the
is.
casing.
So bombshell reveal time. I got tired of waiting for this AirPods Studio to exist. And I have the new Sony headphones coming tomorrow.
Oh, this is not what I thought. I thought you were going
Yeah.
to say that you ordered one of those wild ones. You know
Oh,
what
no,
I'm...
no, no, no.
You remember what was the name of that? Is it I?
I
Audio. That's what I thought that you were going to say, that you got some of their headphones.
No, I
So I
got
was
the
close.
latest. You were close, but I got the latest Sony WH-1000 XM4, I guess would be the full name.
Was this the one
Which-
that Marquez reviewed recently and was saying like it was
They are-
amazing?
They are the best noise cancelling headphones around.
Right.
The latest Sony ones. I had the XM3 from 2 years ago, and I love
Yeah.
them. Like, it's favorite Bluetooth headphones I've ever tried. But I wanted to get new ones for a while. Especially, I wanted to get headphones with multi-device pairing support.
When I
right?
saw that in his review, I very nearly bought them.
Yeah, and months ago, if you remember, we were chatting on iMessage with Fan and you and John, and in the John doesn't have.
Well, he doesn't need it. It's one syllable. That was the whole reason.
Well,
for
we could say on. We could say on.
Fan.
So I was chatting. I was chatting with Che, Fan, and on, and oh God, this is getting so tricky.
I still
and-
can't remember what we decided on for you. Faye.
I'm just Faye.
No.
I'm just Faye.
Faye Fen. That's why I'm getting them confused.
Faye,
'cause they're
Fan,
very
Che, and
similar.
on. Anyway.
Anyway.
We were chatting about the AirPods Studio, and I said, I've been meaning to get the latest Sony headphones for a while, but if this AirPods Studio actually exists, I think I'm gonna pass and I'm gonna wait. But the longer I keep waiting, So
Yeah.
I just went ahead and purchased them, and they're coming tomorrow. And I'm very excited because the noise cancellation is apparently superior to the XM3, and they do support multi-device pairing, which I've been meaning, like, it's something that I've always wanted to have because I want to pair these headphones to my phone and my TV at the same time. Because I fundamentally dislike having to do the manual pairing process of my TV every time. So now I just can keep them paired to
What
my
do you,
iPhone and the television.
Is that when you're gaming, you use headphones on the TV?
Yeah, or
Right.
when I'm watching TV at night with like actual television, not like Apple TV, and I don't want to bother Sylvia, I can just connected headphones,
Mm.
right? So, yeah. So when I saw this report, I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. I'm tired of waiting for new.
I was really
this
intrigued
new-
by them. I was intrigued by the Surface headphones before. They look really nice. And then these new Sony ones, I did really want them. But I decided to wait to see what Apple's doing. Because I don't have a use for specifically for a headphone like this right now because it wouldn't be replacing anything. So for me, I feel like I can let it go. But I know you have other headphones, and I've had, I think, other Sony headphones in the past, like these noise cancelling ones. So you're more used to having that type of product around.
Yeah.
But that's why I've been able to hold off because I don't have any over ears that I use for these types of like content consumption purposes. I just use my AirPods Pro all the time. But there are a lot of times where like I would, like if I'm watching a Twitch stream for like an hour and a half, it will be way nicer to use more comfortable over-ear headphones, I would find. Because I'm used to having over-ear headphones on for many, 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 many hours at a time, right? Like that's how I record all my shows, that's how I do all my editing. But I would like to have something that's wireless with my devices.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a very happy customer of the previous generation model of this. And the new ones, they're not so exciting because they literally look the same. But at least I got a different color, so they will look new to me. And the functionality is what matters ultimately. So coming tomorrow, I guess we're going to talk about them next week.
Yeah, I've already wrote a note down to ask you next week what you think about them.
Okay.
Bombshell reveal concluded.
Yes, bombshell reveal end. This is the end of the reveal. I hope you're happy with it. If you're not, well, I am, so whatever.
This episode of Connected is brought to you by Hawthorne. I've been thinking about making some changes lately and wanted to start by improving my self-care routine. The problem is I didn't really know where to start. I've basically been using the same product since high school or college, and then I found Hawthorne. It's a premium tailored personal care brand that makes it easy for guys to feel and smell your best. You start with this really cool quiz, things like what's your favorite drink? How do you like to spend a night out? Do you smoke? And it was really interesting to see how they factored my answers into the results. The quiz was really easy and pretty quick as well. You also tell them things about your hair type and your skin, things that bother you. And I got this box, has a bunch of self-care stuff in it. I've absolutely been loving the shampoo and conditioner. I am rocking that pandemic haircut like many other people, and what I was using just couldn't keep up as my hair gets longer and curlier. I've been really happy with the stuff Hawthorne sent over. It's a fun and convenient way to get super high quality products tailored specifically for your needs. Hawthorne even takes the risk out of it by giving you free shipping on your order and returns. And if you don't like your products, they'll even retailer them for you based on your feedback. That is a really cool feature. So do what I did. Take Hawthorne's quiz today and get started on your personalized self-care routine by going to hawthorne.co and use the promo code CONNECTED to get 10% off your first purchase. That's HAWTHORNE.co. That promo code, once again, is CONNECTED. Go there now, guys. I think you're going to love it. Hawthorne.co, promo code CONNECTED. Our thanks to Hawthorne for supporting the show.
It is time, Federico. Let's talk about the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro. I feel like you have not mentioned publicly anywhere that you have this phone.
Yeah, I got a review unit.
Did you get one or both?
I just got the iPhone 12 Pro.
Okay.
I didn't get the iPhone
all
12.
Right. So me and you can only talk about the iPhone 12 Pro because we've both only had experience with the iPhone 12 Pro. Which one do you have?
I have the 12 Pro in silver.
In silver. So you have the Stephen Hackett model. Oh, sorry, the Fan Hackett model.
I have the fan model.
You have the fan phone.
The fan edition.
The
yeah,
fan
it's
phone.
silver. I have the fan phone.
What do you think about the silver?
It's fine. I think it's kind of pretty. So let me try and remove this case, actually.
What case do you have?
Right now, I have the Pitaka case. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes.
Okay.
I think it's okay. The stain, it's a kind of like default look, right? It's stainless steel. I like the matte texture of the glass in the back. I don't hate it,
Right.
which I guess it's a positive. I do like the metal look of it, like the metal stainless steel band. I think it looks kind of nice.
When you say default, it kind of made me think of like 404. Like it's like the 404 edition, like texture not found. It's just like it's
Right.
white on the back and it's silver on the
exactly.
sides. It's just
Exactly.
like, and this is not a criticism, but it's just like compared to the other ones, it's very much like this is default.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's default because it reminds me of the iPhone 4. Like it wasn't stainless steel, but it's like that that default gray finish, like silverish finish. It
Yeah.
reminds me of that. And
It reminds me of the iPhone 5 similarly because, I mean, I had the white iPhone 5 and it had the chamfer, right? So it had a bit of shine on it. It's very, that the white one is very reminiscent to me, or silver, I think they call it now, is very reminiscent to me of that. But yes, those phones, I mean, you know, obviously there are a lot of comparisons being drawn to those phones because we're back to flat sides already. But the white and silver specifically is the only phone which has any resemblance visually in color to those ones because the graphite doesn't look like the black and there wasn't gold then. So it was just white and black back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was there a gold iPhone 5? Maybe.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I
it
think
was
maybe
maybe
the
the 5S.
SE. Maybe the SE had a different color to it.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
I think it was maybe just black.
Maybe the
and black and
5S though. Maybe the 5S.
white. Maybe
had
the
it.
5S.
Maybe. In any case, it's fine. I think it's very pretty. The design, obviously, the flat edges are beautiful. I do like the combination of. I like the contrast of the flat edges and the rounded corners of the display. Like I think it plays very nicely together. This contrast because before it was like you had a curve on the display and another curve on the body of the phone. And now this contrast, I think it works really well together. And it gives you more of the illusion of the screen really extending all the way to the edge. It's like there's a precipice or something after that.
Yeah,
like,
it is. It's very different to other phones that are like this as well, right? Where like there isn't a curve of the display going down to the sides. It's like you have the display and then the sides begin. It's like it feels almost as close to a 90-degree angle as a phone could give you.
Yeah, and it gives you that idea that like if because of the flat edges, if the pixels continued, they would almost fall off the phone.
Yeah.
Right?
There's nothing left.
Yeah, and I think it's a very nice visual effect, and it gives me more of the sense of edge, like an edge-to-edge experience. So visually, it is stunning. I really like it. The color is fine. I would have liked to play around with the gold or blue models, but hey, you don't look a review unit in the mouth or in the color.
Speaker grill.
Whatever. Yes, in the speaker grill.
Don't look a review unit in the speaker grill.
Yeah.
As they say.
As they say. A lot of people say that.
known to
Many
say.
people are saying that, Michael. Yes.
Why is nobody talking about this? Yeah, okay. So I've had limited experience, but some experience. There is one of these in my house, right? So Adina upgraded to the Pacific Blue 12 Pro. In my opinion, the Pacific Blue is the second best color. I think that Adina made the right choice for her. I really like the look of it, but it isn't what I want, which is I want the gold. I like the way the gold looks. I think as well as the sides, the phone is bigger, right? Like it's a little bit like the screen is bigger. Having held onto it and used it, I feel like I could get used to the 12 Pro size and be happy with it. I feel like it's the first time, like I was happy with the 10, but still wanted a bigger phone. I feel like I could go from the 11 Pro Max to the 12 Pro and I would be happy. Because like size of phone wise and screen size wise, it's good. The one downside that I have felt with it is that I know that there is, maybe you would be better placed to explain this than me, but I know that there is some like Some of the UI is sized differently again between the Pro and the Max, which wasn't the case with the 11, where the 11 Pro had is it 3x resolution?
Yes.
And it's now gone to 2 again, or it's like a slightly in between one. But like if you turn the phone on its side, it won't show you like split application. Like, if you turn the messages app on its side, it doesn't show you the messages list on one side and the conversation view on another side. So I felt that in using Adina's phone, some stuff felt like it was too big for me. Like the UI was sized weirdly. So like I don't know if this is like a thing with dynamic type or whatever, where we're just set up differently. But yeah, it's like it feels different to me.
Mm-hmm.
Zach is saying in the chat room that it was the non-Pro 11 that had the split on the side. But nevertheless, in using it, the physical size of the phone feels good. And like I could use that, but I think I would miss some of the way that the Max is laid out.
Yeah, and I feel the same way. I think for the first time, if I was forced to by a nondescript entity to use a non-Max phone, I could use it. Mm-hmm. I think because of the slight increase in physical size, I could live with this. However, nobody's forcing me to.
No,
thankfully.
I could imagine a world in which if the Max didn't have differences, which it does, that I could be Captain Flip-Flop. And like get the Max phone and be like, this is bigger and I don't feel like I'm getting any benefit out of it being bigger, and would maybe want to consider changing.
No, I don't feel like that. I feel like even with feature parity, I would still gravitate toward the bigger model.
I can still imagine I would, because I love all of the same reasons that I loved it before, and the reason that I went with the 11, even though it had no differences, because I just like having more data on screen. But my point is that like I am bracing myself for the potential that the 12 Pro Max, the screen have gotten too big for me. Like I'm just bracing myself for that eventuality, and if that was the case, and the phones were the same, I wanted to move, what I'm saying is I would be happy with the size of the 12 Pro. But I can't imagine that being what actually happens to me in this iteration.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think the physical size is a very nice change.
Mm-hmm.
Makes it like I was afraid that I would hate it, like that I would begrudge using this for a few weeks. But no, I'm actually kind of liking it. But again, shame for the the camera differences, because even more so than the display differences, I really want to have the best camera possible, which means I have to purchase the 12 Pro Max. That's the phone I want. But this one, like I would imagine that a lot of people are gonna like this because it strikes a very nice balance between being the smaller version but slightly bigger than before.
What is your experience with the cameras so far?
I found really helpful the YouTube link and the Twitter thread that you put in our document, because I was able to see some differences.
Friend of the show, Tyler Stallman, did a great video review from a photographer's perspective, and then also published a Twitter thread showing differences in images that he'd taken. And they will both be in the show notes. I really recommend them.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of struggling to find the improvements. Now, let me clarify. The new stuff like night mode portrait, really nice.
I love it.
It's super well done.
Yeah.
The LiDAR autofocus, like I can see the improvement there. Very nice. But overall, like the 12 Pro, it just feels kind of similar to the 11 Pro.
I think it's a more standard improvement, where the 11 was a big improvement over the 10S.
Yeah. But I wouldn't compare these improvements to, I think it's even less than a regular, let's call it S year, even though we don't have those anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's
What about the
I don't know.
video changes, like the HDR video?
That's impressive, but
yeah.
I think it's very remarkable. But the problem is, I cannot watch that Dolby Vision content on my TV yet,
Right.
right? And also I haven't really taken a lot of videos because we in Italy right now we don't have a lockdown, but basically we have. So I'm not going to like the park with my dogs a lot. And video taken indoors, it's not exactly fun. It's always kind of grainy because I mean in broad daylight, sure, but in the afternoon it's it's kind of crappy video, honestly. So I'm struggling to find the improvements. The photos taken with the wide camera, are they really better than before? Apple is saying 27% more light.
It
They
seems
look
like
kinda
it's in
similar to
low
me.
light that there are some benefits, and like I was
Seems
able to
like
see
it.
those in Tyler's photos. Tyler did remind me that I really wanted to see and still want to see improvements in the ultra wide camera because it's clearly the
Yep.
worst of the bunch.
Yep. Agreed. That's what I wanted to see as well. I think it's an unfortunate timing because like I can imagine all the pictures I would have taken in public places, at restaurants, at bars, at the park, outside in Rome. And right now I really can't do that,
So maybe it's good the camera isn't that much better.
because I don't feel like I'm missing out much.
Yeah. But
Uh,
I am holding out great expectations for the Max camera.
Same. I think part of my feelings right now are being affected by that thought in the back of my mind of like, there's this much better, in theory, thing coming in the near future, and you want to wait till you get excited for that. I think my brain is sort of processing that in the background. Right now, I think the two things that really stand out to me are the night mode portraits, which are super neat, and the LiDAR autofocus. I think that's really nice. Otherwise, I'm kind of waiting for the 12 Pro Max for photos.
What about MagSafe? How much experience have you had with
Oh,
that?
MagSafe I really like. Okay, so I am super into this idea of magnetic pairing and charging and like an ecosystem of accessories that can now like be certified by Apple and sort of let you do different things. So I removed my wireless charger from my nightstand as a test, and I put two chargers next to each other, two relatively small round things, the default Apple Watch charger and the MagSafe charger for the iPhone. They're just there on my nightstand laying flat, kind of blending in with the nightstand color. I really like it. I really like that at night I can just get it close to the MagSafe charger and it pops, like it attaches to the phone. That's very nice. I would have liked to have like a weighted base for the charger, and I'm waiting for someone to make one that has a more like modern and neutral look to it. I saw that the Studio Neat folks, they did one. Unfortunately, the wooden aesthetic doesn't really play
not
well
yours,
with my
is it?
night. It's not mine. So I'm waiting for someone to make like, I don't know, an aluminum one maybe. That would be really nice. But overall, I really like the MagSafe charger. I think it's, very good idea. I have a bunch of cases already. So Apple gave me the default silicone case that has the obviously the MagSafe
Ring?
thing in the ring in the interior of the case. I also got the Pitaka Air, I think it's called the Air case, but I also have the other MagEz case. I think it's called MAGEZ case that they're doing that's coming, but it's not here yet. So the one that I have right now, it's the default case.
What
it's
is
not
MagEz?
I think they're making a MagSafe case. This one isn't a MagSafe case, in the sense that it doesn't have a ring inside. This one is just like a thin case that wraps around the phone.
I think MagEz is their thing that they make. It's like their own thing. I don't think it's a MagSafe thing. Just as an FYI. They have their own kind of like whole ecosystem of products called MagEZ.
Well, then I don't know what I purchased, I guess.
You've purchased a case that has a magnet in it that's meant for Pitaka's magnet thing.
Well, then I guess this is going back.
I don't think
guess
that's
I
the
gotta
one you want, my friend.
I guess I gotta cancel my order.
Yeah.
I also have the Bellroy wallet case coming, but
Yeah.
hasn't arrived. So the Apple case, it's okay, and I do like the idea that it's a MagSafe case. What I dislike is that it covers the bottom lip of the phone. It covers the speaker grill.
The silicone ones do, yeah.
The silicone does, and I'm not a fan of that.
The clear one doesn't. Did you know that?
I know, and it's coming on Friday.
Ah.
I was able to get one from Amazon Italy. So the clear Apple case is coming on Friday. I'm gonna be testing that. The Pitaka case that I have, it's not a MagSafe case, but it doesn't cover the bottom of the phone, which I like. It also doesn't cover, like, it's got cutouts for the side button and the volume buttons, so that's very nice. I've been using the Pitaka case on my iPhone 11 Pro for really the past year at this point. Like, it's the default case that I always went back to.
But then
And
when you
believe
go
me,
out, you swap to the
when I go
Bellroy.
out, I swap it for the Bellroy one. But any other time, I have the Pitaka, what do they call it? Aramid fiber case. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I get, so I have the Bellroy coming, and I have the clear Apple case coming as well. I think generally speaking, I'm really intrigued by MagSafe because I'm super into this taken out of context is kind of funny. I'm super into magnets as a
Love a
person.
magnet.
I'm just a magnet guy, man.
You're a magnet freak.
I'm a magnet head.
You're a
Yes.
mag head.
I'm a mag
You're
head.
a big mag head.
So anything like I'm on the lookout at the moment for anything MagSafe related. Car holders for holding your phone in place when you're driving, stands, charging stations, wallets, anything that takes advantage of NFC and magnets. Like, I don't care. Give me all the MagSafe accessories. I didn't get the MagSafe wallet in my review unit package. And I tried to purchase one from Apple Italy, and it's arriving in late November or early December. Super back ordered.
The dates keep changing on it as well. Like, I keep seeing people in our Discord posting like their times changing. Like, it's like it goes out a month, comes in 2 weeks, goes out a week. It's like very strange.
Yeah, and I know that a lot of people said, "Oh, the MagSafe wallet isn't good enough. It's a terrible product." I went ahead and ordered it anyway because I often noticed that I tend to disagree with the common beliefs of designer type people on Twitter.
Well,
And
also,
so-
here's the thing, Federico. I actually think a lot of the people that have reviewed these don't actually use a wallet case. You do.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
intrigued to know from someone who I know uses a wallet case on their phone, do you love it or hate it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
So-
would like that opinion.
I will let you know about that once and if I get it. It's very likely that at that point I will be using an iPhone 12 Pro Max, but it doesn't matter. It'll be compatible with that phone as well. So yes, really into the idea of MagSafe as an ecosystem of accessories that attach magnetically to the phone. I think it's a lovely thing to do, like the convenience of magnets, something that I love on the iPad Pro, for example, with the Magic Keyboard, with the pencil. So give me more of this, please, and thank you. I think honestly, MagSafe is my favorite feature besides the new design. If I had to put it on a scale of like things I appreciate about the iPhone 12, I'd say design, then MagSafe, and then everything else. Maybe LiDAR, even LiDAR before the camera, actually.
Why do you like LiDAR?
Just because I feel like it finally makes certain AR demos. I've been playing around with some of them a bunch. Not the ones that Apple suggested to me. I try, but I've started following a bunch of AR people on Twitter, and those folks, they know what's cool.
They know the
and
good
recent.
AR.
They know the good stuff. They have the good stuff.
They got the
And so I've been using their recommendations. It's just like LiDAR makes it finally usable. Like you don't have to wave your phone around like an animal again. You don't. Everything is just so fast and instant, and the quality of just how the 3D objects, how they blend into the physical world, it's so much better than compared to a couple of years ago. And sure, some of that stuff has been made possible by improvements in ARKit, and especially ARKit 3 and ARKit 4. But really, you can tell the difference with LiDAR. Just how the object, how the stuff like people occlusion, for example, and how objects collide with each other. It's so much better than before. And I've been playing with there's one app called Room Scan 3D that and I almost couldn't believe the App Store description, and then I tried it myself and was like, this app lets you create a 3D scan of your room. I was like, okay, whatever, I don't believe you, but I'm still gonna test it. And it actually did. I have a 3D model of my bedroom that is actually incredibly accurate. And that's because of LiDAR scanning all these different points around me, right? And reconstructing them in 3D. Super impressive. And I played another game. It's like an RC game where you need to drive a little car around. And you actually drive a little car around you. And it's super fun because it's a good kind of illusion, and it's not as bad and as fake as it was a few years ago. And in thinking about this stuff, I realized, man, if this is what LiDAR can do, and this is a first generation LiDAR scanner, right? This is a first generation product. Imagine in a few years what they can do in terms of like mixed reality and AR with a future generation of this technology in a headset, right? And that makes it really exciting for me. So LiDAR, I think it's what I'm saying is I want to start paying more attention to this stuff because I feel we are I feel that a combination of ARKit 4 and what's coming next year, and the LiDAR scanner and the cameras being really good, we are at a tipping point for this. And I feel like it used to be like a cool but kind of broken demo before. And now I think I need to start paying more attention to this because it's actually pretty usable. So, yeah. I don't get me wrong. I don't see myself using AR apps on a daily basis. These are still fancy demos, but they are fancier than before. No, if this makes any sense, but
they're better demos that
they're
really
better
useful.
demos, and they let me see the potential. Whereas before,
Right.
I was like, yeah, I guess this is cool, but also it's like super broken.
Well,
And
yeah,
now-
it's like now that you see it in a way where it actually is impressive, you're like, okay, now I can start to understand how this technology
Mhm.
could be used for things that would be
Yep.
of more of use to me.
Yeah.
So how are you feeling overall about this phone then? I mean, you definitely have more time with it than I have. I mean, I think it looks nice. I'm excited for mine, and I'm waiting patiently.
Okay, so the new design is really nice. Too bad the notch is still here. I was really hoping for it to be considerably smaller, or not to disappear, because maybe that's too soon. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Touch ID is not an option, which is too bad. And I would have liked to see the Touch ID button, the same of the iPad Air. MagSafe, I'm really excited about. Same with LiDAR. The cameras on the 12 Pro are kind of meh. Yeah, some improvements, but not groundbreaking. 5G. So
We haven't even spoken about 5G.
Turns out I have been paying for 5G for the past 2 years.
Nice.
It was, and thankfully it was not an extra. It was included by my carrier, which is Vodafone Italy, by default in my plan. So that's very nice. It's kind of a joke right now because sometimes I have it and sometimes I don't. And I enabled, to test this feature, I disabled this smart data mode. I change the settings to force 5G whenever available. Like, let me choose. I always want to have 5G. Give me all the radios of 5G. Give them all to me. And the thing is, I don't know how this works, but in the same location at different times of the day, like even like 5 minutes apart, for example, I may have or I may not have 5G. And when I do, I mean, the download times are pretty awesome. I get like 150 megabits down, which is pretty remarkable. You know, I was used to having 40 to, I think I was with 4G, I was in the range of 40 to 70 down before. The problem is the upload times, which are basically non-existent. I get like 1 megabit up, and I used to get like 30 on 4G. So I don't think the 5G towers in my area are necessarily ready for the iPhone 12. I think something is misbehaving because I get relatively decent download times and absolutely awful upload speeds. Now, my thing is though, even in an ideal situation of getting amazing speeds both up and down, I don't really care about those because when I'm out, and again, this is unfortunate because I don't think 5G is the, you know, it's hard to get excited about 5G in 2020 in general because we're not going out much. But even if we were, just, I don't know about you, but I never find myself having to stream a 4K video when I'm out.
So I think the thing about 5G, the thing that makes it interesting is in the future you could. Right? Like that's the whole thing about it is like as technology continues to progress, the fact that we will be able to have incredibly fast internet wherever we need it is amazing, right? Because then we could do all these things. But the thing is we don't need to do them now. We don't want to do them now. And that's fine. But that's why it's weird for it to be such a big deal that the iPhone has 5G now. Like the iPhone getting 5G is great. Making the whole presentation, making all the marketing around the fact that it has 5G, it's not really that like it's all right. Like, you know, that's the problem.
I don't know, it just felt like one of those unrealistic advertisements of like, how many times have you ever find yourself wanting to stream a 4K movie while you're on a train? And like, no, because if I know I'm going to be on a train, I download the movie beforehand.
Well, and also, like my phone can't even show it to me in that resolution.
Right.
So, like, you know, yeah.
Honestly, I'm gonna disable 5G and stay on 4G because, like, when I go out, I may have to stream some Apple Music and exchange a few text messages on WhatsApp. And maybe scroll Instagram and Twitter while I'm waiting in some kind of line. Like I don't have to do anything else with my phone. No, I mean,
because again, very good. Like the potential future of 5G is we don't actually have wired internet anymore, right? Like these are the potentials for where 5G could go into the future because
you know how long I'm gonna have to wait for that kind of future.
A very, very long time.
Like
is the answer.
Maybe and I'm being optimistic, maybe 5 years.
Yeah.
Like
No, you're right. You're definitely right. Like that's probably how long it will take before we can get to that point. But the point is like it is an interesting technology with a lot of really interesting ramifications, but they are not in 2020.
Yeah.
And this is nothing to do with the fact like, oh, it's, you know, we're inside, so like it's not about that. It's like the technology just isn't there. Like as well, the technology that Apple is talking about, the technology that our friends at Verizon have come to talk to us about, that doesn't even exist in certain parts of the world. And also, even if it does exist in certain parts of the world, Apple's not releasing a phone in those countries that will support it. They are only releasing the millimeter wave antenna, which is known ultra wideband or whatever AT&T call it as well, because they do have it. The millimeter wave is what the technology is called. That's the really fast stuff, and it's not available in any market for the iPhone outside of America. That's where like those really crazy speeds, like that's where you're going to find them. For you, the best you will get is a little bit faster than 4G.
Which I don't care about because 4G is fast enough.
Yeah, it is.
So
I have very fast 4G. Like my 4G is always like around 100 down and like 20, 30 up. It's like, what? I'm with you. I don't need more than that for the things that I'm doing right now. But like what a lot of I heard this in the Verge review, the 5G hype industrial complex will tell you, and I do believe it to a point, is like if we have this technology, the speeds, we can build other types of technology to take advantage of it. And I agree. I understand. I am on board with that. It makes sense. And like, let's go for it, right? The next 5 years, let's see what 5G will do for us. But it ain't now. So that's why it's not really a thing, no matter how much Apple want to make it a thing. It's just not a thing right now.
So yeah, my overall thought on the iPhone 12 Pro, and this is before I've even started writing anything about it. I like the design. I like MagSafe. The cameras are kind of boring. 5G I don't care about. Ceramic Shield I don't care about because I rather never drop my phone.
I want better scratch resistance than drop resistance.
Yeah,
personally.
I don't care. Like all these drops that people seem so concerned about, like just don't drop your phone. Like I don't give me, I don't know. Yeah, scratch resistance. And that's about it. It looks nicer. MagSafe is cool. And I'm really waiting for the Pro Max.
Mm-hmm.
That's my connected review, I guess.
Just a couple of weeks more to wait.
Yeah, this phone the thing that this phone has accomplished is it's making me crave the Pro Max even more. So there you go. Buy the 12 Pro if you wanna return it to get a Pro Max and be really happy about it, I suppose. I don't know. No, but really the physical size also, the size change is also pretty cool. I should mention that.
Yeah. All right, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much to our sponsors. That's Hawthorne, Ahrefs, and Pingdom. And thank you to Stephen for providing his dulcet tones for that. I believe Stephen will be back with us next week, so we can all look forward to Stephen's triumphant return to the Connected program. Thank you if you are a member and support this show. If you would like a longer version of Connected with no ads, go to getconnectedpro.co. Federico, people can find your work over at macstories.net, can't they?
Yes, they can.
And Federico is at Viticci Online, VITICCI.
Yes.
I am iMike, IMYKE. And I guess I have to ask you a question now, don't I?
And I have to ask you a question.
Okay. Do you want to ask me a question first?
I will ask you a question
Okay.
first. Mike, tell me a thing that you recently purchased which you really like that is not an Apple product.
I was awaiting a podcast-related question because that's what Stephen tends to do for me, so I was not expecting that.
Like to keep you on your toes. That's
Yeah.
why I asked. I should ask the question. Enough with the podcast questions.
I bought a Raspberry Pi to set up Homebridge.
Interesting. And did you?
Yes, it's running.
And when are we going to talk about it?
At some point in the future.
Okay.
But I have it.
See?
I have it all going. It's all happening.
See? I should be asking. I should be the one that asks the questions.
You should be
here.
asking the questions around.
Enough with these podcast things. We know all about the podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So now I have to ask you a question.
Now you
and
ask me a question.
My question is, Federico, what is your favorite candy?
Oh, candy? I don't really eat candy.
You must at least eat something, right? Like that. Like something. Some type of sweet or chocolate that you like.
Chocolate, I can tell you.
Yeah, see, that's candy. I did the American one, but yeah, that includes. So what's your favorite chocolate?
I don't know how to say it in English.
Okay.
Hold on. Did you just say raw chocolate? No, I don't think you say that.
Raw chocolate?
No, I don't think you say that. Dark chocolate.
Oh, you like dark chocolate. Okay, so you like chocolate with like high cocoa counts and stuff.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
like 90, 95%. Like that.
Whoa, boy.
Yeah.
That's serious
That's a-
stuff.
That's the best kind. Now, don't get, and obviously without milk in it, just like regular, standard dark chocolate.
And how would you
Like-
call it in Italian?
Cioccolato fondente.
Chocolate fondente. Very nice.
Yes, yes.
Okay, well, Faye, thank you so much.
Thank you, Che.
And we'll look
it's been a-
forward to bringing Fen back next week. Bye,
Yeah,
everybody.
Arrivederci.